Hi everyone and welcome back to Mr. IELTS MJ. Today we're going to practice 7 of the most uncommon IELTS Speaking Part 1 questions. These questions often pop up in real IELTS exams and can really surprise test takers. They might seem easy, but they actually test how naturally and confidently you can speak. I'll also share some model answers to help you boost your fluency, vocabulary, and overall speaking skills. Let's jump right in. Before we jump into the questions, here's something you need to know. Examiners are trained to notice when a candidate has memorized answers or sounds unnatural. If your responses sound robotic or too rehearsed, they might ask tougher follow-up questions to really test your speaking. That's why it's so important to practice lots of different questions. The more you get used to different topics, the more confident and natural you'll sound in the real exam. So, with that in mind, let's start with the first uncommon topic you might get in the speaking test. The very first uncommon topic is maps. In the real IELTS speaking test, you might get some unexpected questions about things like maps. It might sound simple, but many people find it hard to answer naturally because they haven't practiced it before. You could be asked how often you use maps, if you prefer paper or digital maps, or even if you've ever gotten lost. So it's a good idea to be ready for these everyday topics that test your real-life speaking skills. Now let's look at a few questions you might get about this topic, along with some example answers to help you respond naturally and confidently. The first question is, do you often use maps? The sample answer would be, yes, I use maps quite often, especially digital ones like Google Maps. They're really helpful when I'm in a new place or trying to find the fastest route to avoid traffic. Okay, the second question is, have you ever used a paper map at all? Here's one way you could answer it. Yes, I have. When I was younger, my parents used to keep paper maps in the car. I remember using one during a road trip. It was fun, but also a bit confusing compared to digital maps. Okay, let's see the third question. Do you prefer paper maps or digital maps? The sample answer would be definitely digital maps. They're easy to use, always up to date, and they show traffic in real time. I think paper maps are interesting, but not very practical these days. Okay, let's see the last question under this topic. The fourth question is, have you ever gotten lost, even when using a map? Let's see the sample answer for above question. Yes, actually. Once I was walking in a new city and the GPS signal dropped. I ended up taking the wrong turn and had to ask someone for help. It was a bit stressful, but also a good lesson. Let's move on to the second uncommon topic you might face in the IELTS speaking test. The topic is bags. This might seem like a very basic topic, but it's actually quite tricky if you haven't thought about it before. The examiner might ask about the types of bags you use, how often you carry one, or even if you've ever bought a bag as a gift. So let's look at a few sample questions and answers to help you get ready. The first question is, how do you think the design of bags will change in the future? The sample answer would be, I believe bag designs will become more innovative and tech-savvy, maybe with smart features like built-in chargers or GPS tracking. Sustainability will also be important, with more eco-friendly materials to help the environment. Okay, let's jump into the second question. Why do some people carry so many bags with them? This is how you could respond naturally. Some people carry multiple bags because they juggle different roles during the day, like work, gym, and personal errands. Others might do it for fashion, using bags as statement pieces to match their outfit. Now we're moving to the third question. How can the choice of a bag affect a person's image or impression? The sample answer would be art. The type of bag someone carries can say a lot about their personality and lifestyle. A professional briefcase might show someone is career-focused, while a colourful backpack could mean they're more casual or creative. It subtly affects how others see them. All right, let's move on to our third uncommon topic, and trust me, this one often surprises candidates in the exam. It seems simple at first, but it can be tricky if you're not prepared. Let's take a closer look. The topic is wild animals. without wasting any time, let's dive straight into the questions and sample answers. The first question is, what wild animals are common in your country? The sample answer would be, in my country we have a variety of wild animals like elephants, leopards and deer. Some live in national parks, while others can sometimes be seen in rural areas near forests. Okay, let's see the second question. Have you ever seen a wild animal up close? Gee, here's an example of a strong answer. Yes, I once saw an elephant crossing the road while I was on a trip in a rural part of the country. It was both exciting and a little scary because it was so huge and powerful in real life. Now let's move on to the fourth uncommon topic, and this one is a bit personal but very interesting. It often catches candidates off guard in the exam, so it's definitely worth practicing. The topic is dreams. Let's see what kind of questions you might hear in the IELTS speaking exam. The first question is, do you often remember your dreams? The sample answer would be, not always, but sometimes I wake up and can clearly remember parts of a dream. Usually, the more unusual or emotional the dream is, the more likely I am to remember it. All right, now here's a slightly more personal one. Have you ever had a very strange dream? Let's look at a sample answer. Yes, I once dreamed I was flying over a city made entirely of books. It didn't make any sense, but it felt so real. When I woke up, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Okay, let's continue with question number 3. Do you enjoy talking about your dreams with other people? You might say something like this as an answer. It depends on the dream. If it's funny or interesting, I like sharing it with friends or family. But if it's too personal or confusing, I usually keep it to myself. Okay, now we are moving to fifth uncommon topic, that is music. Although many students prepare for common music-related questions, these ones go a bit deeper and are often unexpected in the exam, but let's see the exam questions and example answers. The very first question is, do you prefer listening to music alone or with others? The example answer would be, I usually prefer listening to music alone because it helps me relax and focus on the lyrics or melody. However, when I'm with friends at gatherings or in the car, sharing music becomes a fun, bonding experience. Okay, the second question is, have your music tastes changed since you were younger? Absolutely. When I was younger, I mostly enjoyed upbeat pop songs, but as I've matured, I've developed a stronger appreciation for instrumental and classical music. It helps me concentrate and brings a sense of calm. The last question would be, is music important in your culture? Yes, music plays a huge role in my culture. It's an essential part of celebrations, religious events, and even daily life. Traditional songs are often passed down through generations and reflect our values and history. Now, let's shift gears and explore another uncommon but equally interesting topic that you might encounter in the IELTS speaking test. The topic is public transport. The very first question is, do you often use public transport? Let's see the answer for above question. Yes, I use public transport almost every day. It's convenient, affordable, and helps me avoid the stress of driving in heavy traffic, especially during rush hours. The second question is, have the public transport systems changed in recent years? Let's see the example answer for this question. Absolutely, public transport has improved significantly. Many buses are now electric, ticketing systems are digital, and apps provide real-time tracking, which has made commuting much easier. Okay, let's see the third question. Do you think public transport will improve in the future? The answers would be, from my point of view, yes. With the growing focus on sustainability, I believe governments will invest more in eco-friendly and efficient transport options like electric trains and smart buses. Let's move to the final uncommon topic of this video. The topic is history. Let's jump into the first question. Have you ever visited a historical site? It's an interesting question for me. Actually, I once visited a centuries-old fort during a school trip. Walking through the ancient walls and learning about the battles fought there was both educational and awe-inspiring. The second question is, do you think history is important for young people to learn? The answer that you can think of is, from my point of view, history is essential. It not only helps young people learn about their culture and identity, but also teaches them valuable lessons from past mistakes. I'm thinking to end this video here, but before I go, I just want to say, well, thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope these questions and answers gave you a clearer idea of how to tackle the IELTS speaking test with confidence. Remember, it's not about using big words. It's about expressing your thoughts clearly, naturally, and with good structure. Keep practicing every day, listen to real English conversations, and don't be afraid to speak out loud, even to yourself. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to Mr. IELTS MJ for more tips, tricks, and Band 9 sample answers. See you in the next one, and best of luck with your IELTS journey.